Hello and welcome. It is the 24th day of January 2019. My name is Derek. All bets trades of the like. Well, that's within each's own risk and their own reward. And the first exchange in which I started trading cryptos was on Cryptopia. And from that point, which was early in 2017, up to just recently, they had really bad charts. And what a lot of sites do is they'll just basically use the trading view platform within their site, which is what Poloniex has done. So within such, I'm going to use their site and look at the crosses against Ethereum. Starting off with 0x or ZRX on the daily term time frame. I got it on a logarithmic scale. And I like how the setup for this is moving on the daily chart, as it's been in an up run overall. I guess, do we have weekly on here? No, we don't. The time frame's daily, 4 hour. So that's the 6x differential. 2 hour, 30 minute. There's no single hour, but you got longer term, mid term, shorter term, which to me is all important. For if I want to take a look at just this most recent situation, I can be like, okay, well, what does the 4 hour term have? And I can see in here that we have this level of resistance that it's managed to get above. It got above this one in here. Therefore, it's having its leg higher. It's broken out above it just recently. A nice little run so far within such. We'll switch it up towards Ethereum Classic. And this is its 30-minute time frame, so there's not as much volatility in here. But as I look at this on the overall perspective, when I longer this out, 4 hours as an example, I can see better moves. And amongst this chart itself, it speaks volumes. I'm expecting a lot of people are seeing the same thing I am, how we're at this major level of resistance in here. The number is the 37 handle. The higher lows, ascending triangle kind of deal, breaking out above here. This has very good potential going forward on the daily chart. I like the overall key moves that you have. Like just this day here itself, we have a low of the 39, high of 46. So any buys you got that day obviously got filled, whether you were able to sell or not. Either way, there was a move in here where it got up to 45, back down to 37. And as far as its setup is going, this has been in a downtrend. It had an attempt in here at the start of December to get above it. It established this resistance, didn't get above it. It's doing so now. It's established this resistance and it hasn't gotten above it. But in doing such, then this could look pretty good as this goes forward. And EOS is next, and I'm just doing this because on the right hand side, this is where the crosses are. So I'm going to look at these coins in here. I'm just going to center it so that it works out perfect for the chart. And from this point forward, I can actually easily click on the other charts. So EOS on the 30-minute time frame showing a nice little setup here, short term, as if it might want to make a run up higher. I like its 4 hour setup, so it's overperforming Ethereum on the more shorter-ish term time frame. And on the daily, these swings are spectacular to be able to have a down move like this, up like this, down like this. Markets go up, markets go down, and now it's going up. And it's in the early stages of such. It could very easily come in and go this 240, and who knows thereafter that. And this is still a tight range in itself, just from last August. You have a low of 17 and a high of 30. It's not a surprise if both of them, let alone definitely one, will have a significant break above or below, meaning a break above 0.03 to maybe 0.15 or something at a large number, or even the sick one below going 0.017 to say 0.004. Some like 4x, 5x style moves are most certainly, I think, in place. Let's look at Steam next on the list. And on the 30-minute time frame, it shows, again, not as much of the volatility, but it's all of these markets are a matter of division. The Steam price divided by the Ethereum price, or one over the other. and then that's going to always just suit these prices. When you have these types of wicks in here, if you figure you have your sell orders in place up here at 38, well, the buybacks, these are perfect type of days I like to have happen. And I like fake rallies before markets sell off, because if it's going to go down like this, getting one sale done before it goes down, well, I like that over having no sales before it goes down. And then, of course, over the situation, when you look at the buy low, sell high strategy, after the decline here in November, buy through the most part. And now it's been sell, sell, sell over the most part lately. And long term, this has obviously been in a major downtrend, but a lot of up and down moves. Meaning, starting in here, if you just keep on buying low, selling high, you'd start off losing a lot. But as this market chops back and forth, the buy low, sell high strategy I talk about is designed to profit when movements like this exist. OMI's go on the daily term time frame, that is next. Actually, I always go to the 30 when I go to a new one. Okay, well, that's interesting. Good to know. 4-hour chart. The setup here is magnificent in here. Looking as if with this resistance established, the uptrend line, it spent little time to get up here before. Now, since about the 19th, over the last 5 or so days, it's been in this level, and even more so over the last 3 days. It has just been chopping around this level. It does seem as if this looks poised for a decent leg higher coming very soon within the 4-hour time frame. Amongst the daily term, markets go up and down, all that type of jazz, and you can see these types of moves in here back at the start of January. Just magnificent. End of December of 2017. Magnificent to have. And within such, even in downtrends, when you have opportunities where you can get markets go from, say, what's the number here? The 122 handle up to 180. Okay size volatility overall. But markets go down, there's buy city. I wouldn't be surprised if this goes back into this congestion area at least whenever it's looking ready to go to do so. And quite frankly, it looks more probable that it could be ready very soon. Loom is next, and on its 30-minute time frame, showing not much for trades, but markets are still moving. And amongst the short-term movement, we're looking at barely like a 411 handle going down to a 380 handle. It's about 7-8%. So if that's in your that's your cup of tea, then that's obviously available, and you can still try to play. You have to be very careful and know the order book, I think, when you're playing the small volatility like this. But if you know it well, that can give yourself a huge advantage as well. On the daily chart for this, let's take a look at it once it loads. It loads a little slower on this point, but a lot of these showing the exact same setup. I'm really liking how this is looking. Like, we have this resistance established. Well, like it's going to have a leg higher is really what I meant to be saying, thinking of about 4 or 5 different things at the same time. And short term, you have this resistance established from the 1:16 9 a.m. time frame, or 8 days ago rather. You come close to it on the 20th, or 4 days ago. So halfway through then and now it did it. This price correction gets above it here, and I like how it's supporting this, lifting off. So this looks to me like it's ready to get going. And for indicators, what I did to put this on is I click on this twice and I'll edit it, each one, both for the 18 period, one for the highs, one for the lows. I don't know if it's going to save it if you log out because I just entered it now. GNT is a nice looking chart. It really, really is. It's, well, of course, I mean, if I said it was, it probably is. Yeah, this has got a nice little setup in here. You see this resistance in here? I think this is going to be raring to go. And the daily chart is looking very phenomenal as well. As you can see here, at this level, just a sideways correction meeting up with the 18th through that of time. And I like how we got this nice little green candle move and making a move up to here. That could be pretty cool. We'll see how this works out. We're going to go to even the smaller volume because this is trading at 10 Ethereum right now. 10.4. Mana's trading at 9.58. And on its 30-minute time frame, just doing whatever. I got really no indication. As far as volatility on this range, 338, 326, not much at all. 4 hours. Again, this is just going to trade back and forth because of the matter of division. When one or either of the markets have decent sized moves, it's going to have to follow suit. And when only 9.5 Ethereum is traded on this market and the amount of mana traded in Bitcoin, this is not, it's relevant towards the other markets. But it's interesting how these setups will just still pan out as they do. But the daily time frame in here, all these buys from December, I'll be looking to sell back. That's just how the game works on that. Status network trading at 4.38 Ethereum per day. The 30-minute time frame for such is in a downtrend. The upper end of this range is 189 change. The lower end is 184, so just a couple percent. Rake is 0.1% when you're the maker. So I think it does have very good rake. The only thing that's better, I think, is the Binance one with the Binance coin fees, but good rake nonetheless. 4-hour term time frame. It's had some very good up moves. I'm looking to buy back on this. Whether it will or not, of course, time will tell on such. Daily chart, there's the beautiful move up. So all the buying has turned into selling. And then along the way, you go from 177 down to 145, which is great to have this on up moves, just to have a good higher low, because that's a buyback. And then you can, if you sell up here, I can buy here, I can sell again and sell again. That's what makes it so magnificent when you're able to get it. It does look as if this thing should probably have at least a decent retracement, as I see this low hit, this high fail, and then just coming back down to this. It should come down a little bit further. And the final one we're going to look at is Qt. I'm actually going to take a look at a few other ones of high volume I'm not trading. And on its daily time frame, it's got a nice setup. It's got a nice setup. I like how it's playing this 18 average of highs over the last week and a half or such from this level of resistance. So to say if this goes up, I'd be surprised. No, because the setup is telling me there's a pretty good chance. But if it doesn't hold from here, a fast move going down to like in here, making a higher low from this is not a surprise either. But I think there's a better chance that it has a decent gain higher than it does of the lower lengths as it plays out. Alright, so let's take a look at some coins that I'm not playing. I'm going to click a button to bring every coin up. So ZEC, and I could trade this against Ethereum because I'm trading this against Bitcoin, and I'm in a spot where I need to buy soon. I'm against Bitcoin. I'm waiting to buy. This is going up against it, so obviously that's not good for me. But let's take a look at it. Because I want to go down, because I want to buy. Or I want to go way up, because I own a bunch. I guess either way, it's fine. Yeah, I don't care what the market does. That's how I like to play. But as far as this is concerned, it's got to be in a... Well, it looks pretty good in here. So then, why don't we take a look at Ethereum against the dollar. Against the Bitcoin, rather. Against both. Against both. Okay, this is the dollar exchange against USDC. You can trade on here. They were having free trades against this. I don't know if they still are. I don't own any USDC here, although I'm considering it. After all, I got TUSD. I could change it into it. That's how I'm considering it. And Ethereum against the dollar. This is showing weakness amongst the 18 average of lows. I realize if this goes down like this, then all those other coins I showed against Ethereum are just going to go up. And that's fine. That's why I like to trade this cross. The matter of division for such. So again, this is a type of spot, if this has a decent leg lower and falls to like 93, goes below 100, thus loses greater than 15%, I'm not surprised. If it falls down to 82, I'm not surprised as well again either. But I think even if this doesn't hold long term, that there's going to be at least somewhat of support here. Not guaranteed, of course, but more likely to have support than not on a situation or the event occurring for action to be such. Okay, so let's take a look at Ethereum next against Bitcoin on the Poloniex chart. And after its move, it's pretty much showing the same thing as it is against the dollar. A lot of weakness amongst the 18 lows. After all, it didn't spend much time here. Let's take a look at that, the 4 hour. Because it came down here, spent 4 or 5 periods there, big move up. It had the Bart Simpson head formation, which is just a fast move up, just got up and down to complete the head and then back down again to the neckline. And then from that point on, it had a weaker rally, grinding its way lower, and it's been spending a lot of time amongst this area. And that's why it's more likely, I think, we have a loss of whatever value compared to the same equivalent rise higher as its next move. But it's one of those situations that I see in a market where you have a descending triangle like this. You have a situation where it's crunched together. We've had a lot of hits of support. There's really not much room left where you can make lower highs. That which either side it breaks out of, superior moves are in play. When I say superior moves, I would say at least something around the size of these types of plays, where it could easily even break this high and go up to like 3-7 handle, 3-7 change handle, 3-8, whatever, somewhere decently high, and do so relatively fast within 1 to 6 periods. On well, this would be within a day or two. That would be, but the same thing is true on the downside too. Starting off with a red candle like this, I mean, what was this market looking like before it happened? It was showing weakness amongst the 18 lows, and although it was no, the exact picture doesn't say, oh, it's guaranteed that we're gonna have a big move lower. We're at this level of support. No, the probability odds were only higher, and it happened in that spot. And when they're ready to go in here, it's you say, oh, what's the chances that this thing has a decent sized move higher? Well, not good. But if it does, can it be big? Well, yeah. And then, of course, it was a decent sized move. And that's the whole point when it's ready to go. And there's just the whole mathematics when there's big buyers coming in and they got many different ask price that they have to take out. Well, that's just what happens when that goes through. The price action goes higher because big buyers come in, and that was obviously the case in most of these times when the markets go up like this. Thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye bye.